That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. Huh? It's a toad, dude.
Yeah. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
What's going on, folks? Welcome here to the OneCast Fishing Friday Live with Pete and I, because Trey is out doing some business with his new job after he got out of the Army. So it's just us hanging out tonight. Did you guys
do? No, we did not.
Because it's Black Friday?
Yeah, Black Friday. Trey was getting ready to go out of town. I think
I was on the West Coast, so
yeah, you were on the West Coast. So I think we just took a week off day after Thanksgiving. Everybody was kind of chilling, but we're back in action. And I guess there's a little bit of news, but make sure you check out this scrolling across the bottom or top of your screen, depending on where you're watching.
Yeah, let's do that. Make sure you go check out the Deep Dive app, iPhone, Android, whatever you have. Go download that before your next fishing trip. It's going to give you a lot of information of where to fish, what baits to use. It's great to plan your trip, but even when you're out there, like to make adjustments on the water, if what you're doing is not working, pick it up and see what it suggests, because I think all of us can attest that it has pointed us in the right direction on multiple times. Let's see what else. Make sure I'm wearing the Hobie hat. So go to Hobie Eyewear. Christmas is coming up. Make sure you take advantage of our link and save an extra 15%, but get stocked up on your eyewear. Those floating polarized sunglasses for next spring for the bass fishing.
Yep.
Make sure you
got an even better deal coming for Christmas.
Oh.
I don't know where the piece of paper went. I had it. It's out on my kitchen table, I think. But still use our link because it helps us, but it'll give you the updated discount code. So I'll make a post on socials with what that is.
What else? So yeah, go to onecastfishing.com. Obviously, I'm up in the shop here. Use the code TheOneCast, save 10%. Get stocked up on your jigs, soft plastics, long neck hooks. I should have them right here handy, but here's one that looks like without a skirt on it. And then, if you're moving to North Carolina too, you got to go see our buddy Terry out to what's the website they need to go to, or the phone number, Pete?
You can just search Terry Carpenter, real estate agent, North Carolina, or you can email him at carpentert@hpw.com. But if you go to our socials, to like our link tree, I have his link tree link there that has his phone number and everything. So I would give it to you, but my phone is my camera right now, so I've got to I can't look at it. But if you email him, he'll get back with you. He's busy, so he's busy, but he's not too busy for clients. So make sure you hit him up if you're looking to move. What's up, Nick? What's up, Tim?
I'll say big news for me. Pete knows this, but I did a little thing with the whole Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. I bought me some new power poles for my boat. So, David and Nick, you guys know I've been running that one power pole since I bought that boat in 2016 or whenever it was. And it went bad, partially my fault after Lake Murray, definitely. It went bad. So I got 2 new power poles sitting in the garage. I got to get put on, and I got 2 new Humminbird Explorers to replace my Helixes. And I need one more eventually to put up front, but that's the start. But got to get my boat redecked, maybe wrapped, and get ready for the next year. So hey, it's a work in progress, but it got some new toys to play out when I eventually get back out in the water.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, that'll be exciting. It's always fun rigging, doing that stuff in the off season. So, and I'm sure you're looking forward to getting out there and messing with that. I know I'd be chomping at the bit. I'd already had it installed and been on the water. You got more patience than I do.
Well, I got more stuff I got to get done.
That's true. That's true.
Figure out because
you're going to do the decking and everything.
Yeah, because the first few years I had the boat, I kept it in the garage all the time, and then we moved houses, and I live on the water, so it was kept out in the boat slip a lot too. So it's got a lot of rain and sun dam. It is. It was left out a lot because I didn't want to take it out every time when I wanted to go out and on the boat. There's no cover over my boat slip, so I got to do some repairs. But I want to deck it out, put the OneCast, the podcast logo embossed on there, and with the OneCast Fishing logo, and then probably get it wrapped too. So it looks like a brand new. It's going to look like a brand new boat in the next couple months whenever I get it done. So you guys can be looking out there to see the OneCast on the water, I guess. But yeah, hopefully by big time next spring, be out there doing some damage on those largemouth.
Heck yeah, I need to order a couple decals to add to the wrap, the OneCast and OneCast Fishing, and I still left some space to be able to show those that we work with. So
yeah, trays are on the way. I bought a couple initially to see how they look. And if we don't like them, I can get other ones and stuff. But a couple of big vinyl decals for his boat. And
what'd you go through?
I actually went through signs.com, which is
I'd like to see how they look. I've always used Z decals just because they're high quality, but
I mean, I got them because I have bought my signs for my trade shows and for various displays for stores. I bought stickers from there. They do. Mm-hmm. They literally have vinyl leading and a boat decal section. So we'll see how they turn out. I just basically got the OneCast Fishing emblem and an oval, kind of like some of my other ones and stuff. But it's like a big sticker, 24 inches by 18-inch sticker, basically almost. But we'll see how it turns out. If we don't like it, we'll do something else. But
yeah, for sure.
We'll see how it works.
Excuse me. What was that? Man. Yeah, so I guess in news a little bit, MLF, if y'all watched what was going on with I think it was a Toyota Series Regional. There was what's up, Derek? There was a few folks that were disqualified due to a protest stating there was a violation of the sharing information during the tournament where they were texting back and forth. One of the accused refused to take a polygraph, so he was disqualified. The other young man took it and failed, but he continued to fight. He provided some updated information to MLF. So he provided the text messages, which showed that the other accused had requested information. He never replied or gave any information. So
and then he took another polygraph.
He did re-polygraph and pass when they changed the questions up, basically asking, did you violate rules? Or did you send any information? So he was able to pass at that time. They cleared him, reinstated a portion of his earnings minus a fine for not reporting the other angler.
Okay, that was my question because I didn't see it because he was like second or third or something.
They reinstated his winnings minus whatever the fine was. They let him back in the All-American, which is a big deal. So he'll be back and qualified for that and reinstated to be able to fish MLF. The other angler who was banned for the entirety of 2026 because of the rules violation had his ban extended till 2028. So he's not eligible to fish with MLF till 2028 because of that. So, man, it's good to see that the process worked. We see a lot of hate about the no information rule. We're going to talk about it a little bit more because something I suggested, and you can go back to the history of our podcast and see my stance on no information rule, something that I've been saying they should do for a while. They took a step to do at Bass. You saw a lot of guys take a polygraph, fail, and then fail more polygraphs, and DQs held up. This time the angler was able to provide the information and pass the polygraph and was reinstated. So MLF, kudos for doing the right thing. But Bass announced some changes, which is exciting. So the easiest way to sum it up is there's still the 28-day off limits period, which now also is the 28-day no information rule period. So they can't seek any information. Outside of that, from the day that the schedule is announced, you cannot pay for information. You can't solicit a guide trip, can't buy waypoints, can't do anything to get information. However, you can solicit information call up your buddies, get information that way. You just can't pay for it. So that's something I suggested. If you go back and listen to some old episodes, is if you want to maintain some level of control, and I understand why they don't want to just go full on no information, right? Or completely eliminate, because if you do, there's a competitive advantage to anybody that can afford to pay for guide trips, pay for waypoints, pay for information, however that may be. There's lots of, I won't mention any names, but there's lots of stories out there, and I've met a few of them, guys that were paid by pros back in the day to go waypoint lakes ahead of time. They would pay them and say, hey, take this Lowrance unit, go out to Lake X and waypoint every brush pile, and then send me the card back, and they would receive payment for that. So if you had the money to do that, you were at a competitive advantage. This kind of evens the playing field, right? So I can go out and solicit information from my buddies, locals on the lake, whatever. I just can't pay for it. So I think it's a step in the right direction. Because now up until that 28-day off limits, I can talk fish with my buddies. I can fish. It explicitly states in there, I can fish with my family. I can fish with my friends. So I can go out. Now, is there an advantage if your buddy's a guide on that lake? For sure. But as long as you're not paying them, I can reach out to any guide and say, hey, I'm Kevin Van Dam, want to go fish. And I know he's not fishing bass, but I'm just throwing a name out there. Want to go fishing, and you jump in my boat and we'll run around and show me some stuff. So it opens up, makes it a little bit more fair. I think it's a step in the right direction. Ultimately, what I'd like to see is it completely eliminated to where it just says you can't pay for it, but you can get it all the way up to the first day of the tournament. Because I still think even in that 28-day period where it's off limits, you're setting your anglers up for potential failure because of, and Ben, we've talked about it, the gas station, the tackle shop ahead of the tournament. The guys are getting into town, into the hotel, checking in their Airbnbs. They're seeing local guys, and everybody wants to come up and talk, right? When I go to tournaments, I make it a point not to talk to those guys when I see them. Won't even say hi to them. Because you start chatting, and all of a sudden the conversation turns, and it turns, hey, at 92, I caught a 7-pounder off that tree in the back of Licks Cove, and that can be misconstrued as him receiving information, right? So I think it's a step in the right direction for bass. I know there were some other changes. I didn't read all the way down. I believe the Classic is still fully no information for this year, starting January 1. Yep, no information on the Classic. What about, did you see if there's anything on the opens?
So I think with the opens I think with the opens, because of the new rule, it kind of makes that like null and void. It doesn't really matter anymore.
So it looks like it is for the elites, the Elite Series, the Elite Series qualifiers, and the Bassmaster Open. So that rule now carries across all of them, which makes sense to me too, because you had different rules for different stages in that. Now it's the same across the board, no matter what you're fishing in BASS.
Yeah, bass, this rule is almost back to where it was in 2017.
Yep.
Where basically it was, you had the 28 days limit, because I just asked AI here, you can't be on the water before official practice, same as it is now. But there were no really restrictions on gathering info outside that. Of course, now they extended to you can't purchase or barter or anything, which is good. But I mean, it's, what's funny about all this, it's actually not that much different than it was 2 years ago.
It's not.
And,
when everybody threw a temper tantrum.
And everyone threw a temper tantrum because the opens guys who qualified, those rookies did so well. They're like, oh, we got to slap down the rules.
Yeah, they had an advantage because they just fished that lake, and mommy and daddy bought them waypoints. And yeah.
Well, and Bassmaster cracked down, and what happened? Did any of the rookies get DQ'd?
Well, no, not this year. No, they did the first year.
Did any of that set it? No, sorry. Did any of those people who
the
were
new incoming rookies?
No, from 2024. Trey and JT.
I don't believe this year any of them did.
The people who got DQ'd were like Scott Martin and some of the
Matt Herron,
with Loughlin,
Logan Latuso, Ed Logren.
Yeah.
Well, Ed's wasn't. I don't think he was no information. He was fishing.
Oh,
he received a violation for fishing in reservation waters without the right license or something.
Yeah, in Canada.
A little bit different. Yeah. But
you're right.
But yeah, no information. You had Matt Herron, you had Scott Martin twice, you had Logan Latuso, you had KJ Queen, and I can't remember the others that were. So there was more. But I want to get to something Nick said because it kind of goes back to what happened in the MLF. He said, how many anglers do you think see or know about a violation and don't report it? I think there's a lot. And I think we need to do a better job as anglers of setting the standard to report those things. So Trey and I reported a rules violation last year in a tournament, and I think it caused a little drama. People were a little bit upset. But we sat in multiple years of tournaments and saw this same rule violated, and nobody ever spoke up. And it was actually a safety rule. So we spoke up, and it led to somebody being disqualified. They weren't in the money. It didn't cost them any money or anything like that. It would have cost them points if they were fishing all the tournaments, but they weren't, so it didn't impact their points. But I'll tell you what we didn't see the rest of the year. We didn't see a single person violate that rule that we had repeatedly seen violated, right? So it took us standing up and saying, hey, this is what we saw. I didn't actually report it. Trey let me know that he did, and I'm going to support my partner because I saw it as well. So when they asked me, I said, yes, sir. I saw the same thing. This is what we witnessed. And I think the angler reached out to Trey. He might have reached out to me. If I'm not friends, it goes to my other folder, and I'm terrible about checking that. So it's probably sitting in there somewhere. And Trey just let him know, like, yeah, we did it. And he said he didn't remember, and then he did. And what it was not wearing a life jacket. So the rules in Fishers of Men is you have to have your PFD on, both anglers, if the big motor is in gear. Doesn't matter if you're idling. Some rules say if it's on plane, you have to have it on. Fishers of Men says if the big motor's in gear, you have to have your life jacket on and secured. And this person was standing up on the front deck of their boat. They had dumped their buddy in the water, went and parked, jumped on, and he pulled out, and he was standing up there. And we report it because, like I said, we saw it every week for the last year where that had occurred. So we reported that. So Nick, I think you're absolutely right. How many other folks saw those same violations, didn't say anything? We spoke up, and you didn't see it happen again. But I also know there was a target on our back after that, right? Because people talk. Once he talked to Trey and knew it was us, I'm sure had we done anything, we would have been reported, which is fine. I would expect if I violate a rule knowingly or unknowingly, that I am reported. That's kind of the game here, right? We're supposed to self-police on the water, especially at the local level. We don't have marshals. We don't have cameramen. We're not live streaming our tournaments. We've got to keep each other honest. And, yeah. So Nick, to your point, and Ben, you can let me know. I think a lot of anglers fishing local tournaments see people violating rules and don't speak up. I don't know at that level. I can't speak to that level.
No, I'm sure it happens. And well, we definitely know what happens because people got disqualified at that level. So,
which is why it's written into the rules that if you don't report it and they find out you don't report it, you can be punished as well.
And look, most people agree at that level for Bassmaster last year, like it kind of got a little bit ridiculous.
You're absolutely right, Derek.
But that's what the anglers asked for. The anglers literally asked for it, and they enforced it. So, like, I mean, so did they last year? Did they overcompensate? Maybe, and now they're going back, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think one of the things there, and Derek's right, rules are rules. Follow them, or you face the repercussions. I think what people forget, especially with bass, and everybody's losing their mind about all these disqualifications, they forget about what happened with the attempted rule change last year and how the anglers all freaked out, right? How quickly we forget. Every time I see a post, I remind everybody, did you forget about last December when they changed the no information rule and the anglers freaked out, and within 48 hours they reverted back and they gave them what they wanted this year? Don't forget, Bass tried to change this last year before the start of the 2025 season, and it would have saved some of these guys' careers.
I mean, when you look at it like Tuso, he's going to NPFL. Will probably do great over there, but he's not on Bassmaster anymore. And I don't think he requalified. He probably, I don't know if he would have requalified.
It'd have been close if he wouldn't have lost that day. I don't know.
It would have been close, but he had a fighting chance, and how mentality changes. Like, because I got no chance now. Then but things could have been a little bit different. So. Yeah, it should be good. I think it's smart. Like, In some ways, I wish there was no information rule. You just can't buy stuff. But then again, yeah, you just can't buy stuff. Even like on a fish tips type of thing. Where
That's what I'm saying. I would be fine with completely eliminating it and just making it where you can't purchase it, right? Be totally okay with it. Derek asked, and we'll get to that, Derek. That's a great question. It's something we've talked about. But yeah, on the rules, Ben, I'm with you 100%. I think you could completely eliminate the no information rule. Let guys get information, just not pay for it. And it's fair. Then anybody can go out and seek any information they want.
Yeah, at least I can see. I will qualify that. I can see that maybe during the 28 days or after, because what you don't want to happen is a local buddy to go out there during tournament times also fishing and doing stuff.
Yeah, there's things you need to work in there. You're right.
But no, I think next year we'll have a lot less issues with this, and just because it's a little more open, and just go out there and fish.
Yep.
You can't.
And Charlie over there on YouTube said, I lost a lot of sympathy for the elite guys when they complained about enforcing the rules and no entry fees, then started complaining about the consequences of those actions. You're absolutely right. Like, everybody's blaming the organization for these guys that got disqualified. But at the end of the day, all the organization did was exactly what the anglers asked them to do.
Well, Charlie's right. That's a great point. For years, people have been talking about get rid of entry fees and stuff, how that be. And Bassmaster did it. Now, the payouts were less because the money was coming in less, but now you don't have to pay for your entry.
Yep.
And everyone was grapping about that. So it's just like, whatever.
You can't win. You can't win.
Yeah.
Like, anglers we've said it a bunch of times, like, bass anglers can be some of the biggest whiners out there. And Derek said, have you heard anything about lowering the maximum boater size? Not officially. There's a lot of talk. There's actually a lot of anglers that are in support of it. But what you are seeing is impacting some tournament trails because as the tournament director, the organization running that, you are now liable. You hold liability, right, in any incidents that happen on the water during your event. So you're starting to see organizations that have been around for a long time running tournaments cancel tournaments, right? And they're canceling the whole series because tournament directors are saying the risk to us isn't worth the putting it on anymore. Because if I'm going to be honest, there's a lot of guys that fish tournaments that have no business running a boat. They shouldn't probably be allowed to drive a vehicle, let alone run a boat at 70 plus miles an hour. I've seen some very sketchy stuff on the water fishing derbies, and I'm sure Ben has. I'm sure anybody that fishes them has seen people, and you're just like, that guy shouldn't be allowed to run a boat. And organizations, after the incident that occurred last year with 3 folks losing their lives, there's a young angler he's probably gonna do some time behind bars. He's definitely gonna be financially impacted for the rest of his life, because when the video came out, there was no excuse for what happened, right? So there's some anglers that are pushing Derek to go back to like the 150 days, max horsepower 175. I wouldn't have an issue with it, but I think if you do that, some of these bodies of water they fish, they would have to change some of the rules, where maybe you don't do blast off at the same ramp. You might have to open up some more ramps, let guys trailer. I don't know what the answer is, but I don't care either way. I don't think it's a terrible idea. I don't think it's a great idea, right? Like, I don't know.
I'm not a fan. I'm okay of limiting the max horsepower. Right, that's been for a long time. That's why it's 250s.
Yeah,
but like, let's say you limit it to 200 or even 150. Well, what are most people going to do? They're not going to underpower their 20-foot boats. They're going to go to an 18-foot boat because they want that speed. Well, what happened there? Going 45, 50 miles, going 55 mile an hour on my 18-foot Triton with a 150 is going to cause the same thing to happen if you're going 65 in a Ranger. That's a 20-foot boat. Like, when you look at that video and stuff, like, I don't think a 150 and 18, 19 footer is going to make that much of a difference, unfortunately, because you're still going 40, 50, 60 mile an hour, making that impact on the water. So, unless like you really downsize it to where guys can only go like 30 miles out, 40 miles an hour on plane, like,
Yeah, I mean, even if they went to an 18-foot boat with the amount of gear these guys carry, they're not going to be going over probably 45, maybe 50 if you're lucky. You might get a few guys that'll run light, but I mean, these guys are running 50 or 60 rods. Like, they're running as much tackle as they can. You very rarely do you see a super light load in those boats. And if they're going to make long runs, they're going to put bigger fuel tanks in them, which is going to add to the weight. I think the biggest thing with that, Ben, is just reaction time. There's a big difference in reaction time in 10 miles an hour, and there's plenty of studies and stuff out there that show that. Now, in that case, you're right. It wouldn't have mattered because that was just negligence, not paying
in that
attention,
case,
right?
he wasn't paying attention, so it didn't matter.
But it opened up people's eyes to what can happen, and speed can absolutely play a factor, even if you are paying attention. When you have other people that are operating just like on the road, right? The most dangerous thing we as human beings do in our entire lives is drive a vehicle. It's not any safer running a boat. You know firsthand. You can be the best driver in the world, but you can't control what the other folks are doing. And it's kind of the same thing with a boat, right? So if you downsize, you're going to downsize weight, which is going to downsize, you're going to downsize the potential energy because you're going to downsize speed. And there's a lot of there's positives and negatives.
And mass, E equals MC
mass,
squared.
yeah. So there's a little bit of benefit all the way around. Is it a huge difference? No, it's not. But I may not be inclined as much to run all over the lake if I can only run 45, 50 to 55 miles an hour versus 68 to 78 miles an hour. It might make me think more about these runs and the things that I'm doing. I don't know. I don't know that there's an answer. It's one incident, right?
Yeah, it's one
there's a
incident.
long history of tournament fishing. Now there were like 4 or 5 incidents in tournaments this year. The MPFL had 2. They had somebody drive a jet ski into a boat. They had somebody hit that one didn't really count, the guy that drove into the launch boat. And there was another tournament. There was an accident in another tournament. There was 2 actually in practice in high school tournaments where there were fatalities. Now one of them was heavy fog. They had no business being out there. And I don't remember what the cause of the other one was. So there was a few more. Maybe we'll see an increase because of social media. More people are talking about it. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think there'll be any real changes with that. And then because, like you said, it's been very few instances. And when you look at statistically, like it's actually not that. When you look at how many tournaments there are every weekend through the year, and the ones being canceled, I think that was primarily in Alabama. I think that's an Alabama specific issue. I was trying to do kind of a deep dive into it, but the laws have not changed there, as I understand it. It's just they re-emphasize some of the laws, which has got tournament directors scared a little bit. But nothing, I think, has actually really changed. So we'll see what happens. I suspect within a couple of years that stuff will come back. Those trails and stuff.
It might.
Or someone else pick it up. But
I know the one big one specifically called out that incident and the risk to him personally, financial risk personally as a tournament director, wasn't worth running the trails anymore. And he'd been doing it for like 20 some years. So he specifically said it had nothing to do with Alabama implemented some law about paying for launch for launch permits.
Oh, I think there were some for like launch fees and stuff.
And that's why some of them went away. But the one I saw, and I'll find it, that he specifically said, I'm not taking liability of a bunch of people I don't know 2 times a week running their boats at high rates of speed on lakes with other people on them.
Which also doesn't make sense to me. If he's doing it right and running his business, that trail as an LLC or some other thing, because that shields you from personal liability. So I don't know. I don't know all the details and stuff. But
it's supposed to, but there's cases out there where the LLC shield didn't work.
Yeah, but you could restructure and do things different if you really wanted to. And
I mean, I'm sure there's ways to protect yourself, but at the end of the day, the financial risk to him wasn't worth it, and the risk personally wasn't worth it. So I don't blame the guy. I wouldn't want to do it. Like, it's not worth it.
What Derek said? Do you
pros
think
are flashing their ECUs?
ECUs? What's ECUs?
electronic control. So it's really, you really can't do it on a Mercury.
Like something to plug into a junction box.
There's like one guy that can do it on a Mercury. It's easier on a Yamaha. So I can take a Yamaha, right, and you can flash a 250 up to I think a 525. You can go as high as 525 horsepower on the V8 or the V6 Yamaha. Or are they V8s now? I don't know. Either way, there's a company now that's figured out how to do the Mercuries. I don't think they are, Derek, because most of those guys have issues throughout the year where they have to go to the Yamaha techs, and even if you flash it and delete it, they can still see that it was flashed. There's no way to completely eliminate the history from the ECUs on a boat without completely swapping the ECU. So I don't think they're doing it. Yeah. So
just like if you want, like if you got those and you board out the cylinder and stuff on your outboard and stuff, like those guys at that level, because all their stuff is sponsored pretty much.
I think it is. Yep, Derek. I think you're right. Suzuki's pretty easy.
You know, you go in for warranty or something and they see that, they're going to be like, well, what is this? So,
yeah.
You know, I think the elites, most of the MPFL people, BPT people, probably even the invitational guys, that's not going to happen. But hey, like local, regional type of tournaments, like, yeah, sure. You know, guys get out there in a shop and they want to hot rod things up. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people not pros fishing that flash their ECUs. Lots. I mean, I almost did it in my boat, but the most you could get out of the motor that I have is like an additional 40 horse, and it's just not worth it for the cost. I'll just go buy a new boat for that. Basically, like you're not getting that much, couple miles an hour. I mean, it's not worth it. But I know there's a lot of guys that fish that have 250s flashed to 350s. It happens. Then there's local organizations that don't have max horsepower, which puts some liability to them. Fisher's Men doesn't have a horsepower restriction on theirs as long as the plate on the boat reads that it can handle the motor that is on the boat. It's perfectly legal. So,
get those 300 Rs out there.
Yeah, I mean, we fish against guys that run a 300R on their Bass Cat. Like,
are there 300 Rs? Are they bored out?
I don't know what exactly they do to the racing. I know it's the Torque Master lower. I don't know what else they do to them, to be honest with you, Ben. I haven't looked into them. Now they have the R. They have the R all the way down to the 150. I know they have the one. That's a bad little motor, that 150R. But I don't know about the. I don't know what they do that actually makes it different. I never looked into it, if I'm being completely honest. Ben's going to Google it real quick, though, and see if he can find the difference.
Well, I'm asking AI. We'll see what it says. Let's see. High performance release, and let's see.
Not getting up on plane is more dangerous. Yep, you're right, Derek. Absolutely right there. He said you shouldn't be able to get away. Shouldn't be able to get waypoints, fresh cards every tournament. Yeah, there's that would be interesting. Like, you can't use historical waypoints. You have to come in with a clean graph, and you could only what you find during practice. There's a lot of ways you can mess with different rules to change competition, right? What about if I can't have waypoints, can I have a paper map with marks on it, like the good old days? I still got I got paper maps off Jordan that I marked up when I first got down here and had my little aluminum boat with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
so it looks like the R, at least with the 150R, it's a bigger gear case, up to 4 and 8.8 inch diameter gear case versus the 3.5 before, which gives you more torque.
Okay.
An optimized power head with some, I guess, better spark technology. Let's see here. Digital throttle. Okay, blah, blah, blah. It looks like it's mostly just the gear case.
Okay.
It's changed.
Yeah, so not a whole lot different. Probably not worth whatever extra money they're giving it to. You're going to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? Anybody, you go get your Grinch meal from McDonald's? It keeps popping up all over my social media. I don't know what the hell that is. Anybody eating the Grinch McDonald's nuggets?
Nope. Nope.
The classic fish off.
What's that?
I don't know, but Fisher and I is leading. And the very first comment on Facebook is "Daddy's money, Daddy's money, pay to win now, zero skill using forward-facing sonar, clown show."
Shut up.
And then the very first comment to that is, "I didn't see where you placed after day one." That's funny. Yeah, I mean, if you're like one of these dudes on the internet that's making fun of these kids or like talking smack on these kids, I don't know Fisher personally, but I know people that know. And Fisher's been kicking people's teeth in long before forward-facing sonar. So, man, I'd love to come down to Mexico with you, Derek. You went? Did you go to Bacharach or?
Let's do it.
I know. Trey told me about when you went down there. It's definitely on my list of places I would like to go. Like they got some biggins, man, down there. I know, like Bullshad, Mike Buka does a trip with I guess customers, for lack of a better term, every year. And
I want to go to Zimbabwe to go fish, bass fish. I got
the
giants over there in those lakes over there in Africa.
Yeah, they do. That some of the content come out of there from when they just did the what do they call it? Not the World Championships, but where they had the different countries compete.
They've had it there before. I don't know if they had a recent one.
I think they just did this past year again. Went down there
because they've done it in Italy before, and that's a cool lake because it's like northern Italy, and like you can fish like right in front of a castle, like the walls of the castle in the water. So that's kind of cool. Spain's got a bunch too. Heck, there was a guy in Spain. It's on my Instagram, but he was catching 6-pounders on the OneCast bladed jig in Spain.
Yeah,
cool. Like, so they had some good ones in Spain and Italy, and Africa's got some. Obviously, South America, Central America, Korea's got a bunch. Japan, obviously. I think China too actually has largemouth. They got imported over there. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure Japan. I'm sure China probably has them too. Made it their way. Can you talk about why most tungsten isn't made in the U.S.? Is it regulation reasons, costs? A lot of issues.
Yeah. So there's a couple of reasons for the tungsten. Now, I do believe, is it Titan tungsten?
Titan tungsten is the only one I know that's making it here.
A couple of years ago, I'll look it up. Titan tungsten. They began making their bullet weight.
He's making everything here now.
I'm just going to go to their website because last time I checked, it was only the bullet weights that said made in the USA.
He's now making everything here.
Okay.
He actually shut down production of everything while he got his factory or whatever completed. Now they're making everything here in the U.S. So
that's good. So the reason is it's a couple of factors. Number one is that the way tungsten weights are made, it's a tungsten powder. What's like 3% of lead or tin or some other metal that actually melts at a lower temperature. And then you put your hook in the mold, they put that powder in the mold, and it's really under heat and pressure. But it's a lot more heat and pressure than like just pouring lead or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very capital intensive for the actual equipment to be able to do it. And so over, from the 80s and 90s on, when the United States got rid of all that, it's low skill, and it's old technology, right? People like it's nothing unique. And so it's just cheaper to go overseas with the labor costs and all. That was a big one of them. And two is because of some of the EPA and the environmental regulations. China specifically didn't care about that. So like you could let everything off gas and don't have to have everything to contain that and clean it, etc. So those were the main reasons why it was offshore, and there was no benefit to bring it back. because of you just get made cheaper overseas. Now I haven't talked to the guy with tungsten. My guess is he started doing that right after COVID, at
Yep.
least the first one. And what COVID showed us was that the CCP was an unreliable trade partner. So like you need localized supply chains. So, but that's why. And unless he has opened it up to do OEM for other companies and stuff, then he's going to be the only one that's got tungsten made in the USA. Everything else will be imported. So that's just those are the two factors. It's environmental regulation and just the general offshoring of manufacturing over the last, from like 1990 to 1980 to 2020.
Yep.
So
yeah, so he was opened to doing some OEM work, but his business was suffering because he couldn't keep up. So I think he stopped the OEM work. Actually, no, it looks like he's still doing it. He's just doing it under US Tungsten is the name of the company. So he's still doing OEM work.
I might need to look at him. Might go to some snagless tungsten jigs then.
He's finishing. So right now he has where'd it go? I got his catalog pulled up here. Right now he's got swim bait heads, Ned shaky heads, underspin, some saltwater heads, drop shot weights. Fall and winter of this year, he's going to finish his worm weight, flipping weight, nail weight, and jigs.
So it's still not fully 100% yet.
So he's still, I think he's still. So I'm friends with Josh. Josh Perryman is the owner. I'm friends with him on Facebook. I've talked to him. He's a great guy. I believe part of it was getting the molds made, and then the tolerances, I guess, are a lot less, to your point, Ben, with like the tungsten powder. So just perfecting the molds to where he can make them reliably and uniformly. So I think he was working through that because he's been posting videos here of worm weights and stuff. So it looks like he's getting those dialed in. But it definitely sounds like it's a much more intensive process as you described.
Yeah, and if he is starting out with his stuff, he's probably only got one, maybe two machines.
I think he's up to two now. Yep.
So it's not like, in China where they got like 100 machines in a factory that just can do all sorts of stuff.
I know you said you're heading out, Charlie, but the biggest reason for the interest in Nevada and other states is the tariffs. The tariffs on importing tungsten are so high that it's not worth inputting tungsten. Even shotgun shell companies, so tungsten is a non-toxic alternative to lead, which is required for waterfowl hunting and some other stuff required in California for all upland hunting and everything. They've stopped importing the tungsten to make the shells. A lot of the manufacturers, because it got so expensive that it wasn't worth it because of the pass on to their customers. So I know one company, Boss Shot Shells, who sponsors Seth Fighter and them in fishing, Brandon Serkey, a buddy of mine who started that, great guy. They developed fully copper shotgun shell pellets because it's a non-toxic, a lot cheaper. And
there's steel shot too and stuff.
There's steel, but steel is terrible, man. Because
this is something I actually don't know, and now I kind of want to look into. Obviously with fishing weights, like tungsten's so great because it's more dense than lead.
That is exactly why. That is why tungsten shot other metals as opposed to steel are preferred in shotguns.
Yes, it's more dense. But my question is, with the ballistics and gravity, what's the ballistics on? Like, I'm just curious. Like, you get the same powder in the shot, and so all things being equal, if you have a heavier, more dense shot at a right, then it's not going to exit as fast. However, because it is more dense, those can be smaller, which also which means it can be shot out faster and defeats like some of the wind effects and friction.
The ballistics are significantly better in tungsten and other alternatives to steel. Nothing compares to lead, but you can't shoot lead at, for the most part. You can't at all at waterfowl, and states are going away from it for most hunting with shot for birds, small game. So tungsten, they're finding copper is performing as close to lead as you can get without it actually being lead. Steel is absolutely hot garbage. I've shot Canada geese at 7 yards and heard the steel bounce off of their down feathers. It's just not a good shot. It's not great. If you don't, I mean, you want to shoot them in the head because they die a lot faster, but you don't get that with tungsten. It carries a lot more kinetic energy. The problem is, like with tungsten specifically, is it gets brittle. So you'll get shot into fragments and stuff. So some companies started copper plating it. That's actually what Boss did. They copper plated the tungsten. So you had that copper coating on the outside, which helped limit that fragmentation. You'll get like you'll get steel tungsten mix. And then you'll get like most of it was a mix of steel and tungsten with a higher tungsten concentration. But then you have what they call TSS, which is tungsten super shot, which is pure tungsten. And that absolutely destroys everything. I mean, I know dudes shooting turkey at 70 yards with 20 gauges, 2 3/4 inch shells. Unbelievable. But you're paying like $47 for a box of 7 shells.
Exactly. And so this is the reason why lead's been like a miracle metal for humans for thousands of years.
Yep.
Because it is so dense. It's really easy to work with. I mean, you can melt it down on your kitchen stove. Like when I was little, we'd melt it down like weights to put in my little Cub Scout box cars.
Yep.
You just can't do that with other metals.
Nope.
Sure, it's toxic, but like here's an unpainted lead, and I'll rub all over here. As long as I don't eat it or lick my fingers after, like, and wash your hands, like it's relatively okay for humans in that sense. That's why they say like don't eat it's why babies are concerned about the paint, because they eat the paint chips when you ingest it. That's the big problem.
Yeah, I don't know what my wife.
I mean, heck,
right
there's
now.
a lot of places in this country that still have lead pipes for water. Now, those guys aren't getting lead intoxication, really. Sure, it's not. Is it as good as using another metal? Maybe not, but like for the most part, those guys aren't getting like
it's worked, right?
Yeah, lead toxicity. So, and the big concern, like I know a lot of states have banned it, and like states in the Northeast have banned anything under like a half ounce for fishing. The concern is the waterfowl eating the little shot, right? And really, actually, they die when they eat it. But like for fish, like a quarter ounce of jig head going to the bottom of the lake, like that's not really impacting.
So the debate with lead shot was wounded ducks, geese, birds, rabbits, squirrels, and then they were being eaten by raptors, by turkey vultures, other types of birds of prey, and there was carryover poisoning, and they're saying that's what led to the decline of like the bald eagle and stuff. There's conflicting science out there. It does happen 100%. There are cases where you can show it, but that was the big push from. I mean, I can go on, waterfowl hunting is my other passion. So the Migratory Bird Treaty Act between the U.S. and Canada, that was a big push for non-toxic shock to protect the raptors and the birds of prey. There's conflicting on how truthful the science was there and how many birds were actually affected. You can't deny it does happen, but I don't think it happened to the scale that they were trying to claim. Like there's a lot of things that went into that, but that's a big reason why you're not allowed for waterfowl. As they blame the eagles, like they were protecting the eagles, because the ducks and geese were wounded, and then the eagles would eat them, and then they were dying. So it's there's some science there, but I think it's questionable science. In my opinion.
And like that stuff needs to be reviewed, because like at one point we might think something, and for every action is an equal and opposite reaction. You need to reevaluate, make changes. It's kind of like, I didn't really know this, but like they've got a huge issue right now in Washington State with sea lions and the salmon.
I saw that.
So because of all the rules, you can't hunt sea lions, and like humans don't. For a long time, humans were predators for sea lions with the natives and stuff out there, and even after the natives of settlers and stuff. And so they got rid of all that. and now they're just eating all the salmon at the mouth of the Columbia River, and there's way less salmon and trout than there used to be. Part of the reason why is because of the sea lions. They just got way too many sea lions out there, and so now they're trying to deal with that. So, but no one wants to have open season on sea lions, so who knows what they're going to do?
Yep. I mean, if they open up season on sea lions, I might go over there and blast me one. That'd be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's man, we've talked about all kinds of stuff tonight. Talked about lead and tungsten and rules and sea lions. If they start eating bass, then we're gonna have a big problem.
Well, fortunately, I don't think that. Well, there's bass in the Columbia River, but they wouldn't go down to where the sea lions are because it's it's the salmon. They're making their runs, right?
Yep.
They're going from the salt to the fresh.
Yep.
But I mean, I'm sure the sea lions would eat them if there was bass down there. They'd probably just go to town on them. But
sea turtles in Hawaii. I mean, yeah. There's a lot of things. Look at the what are those stupid things in Florida? Oh, the manatees in Florida are destroying the native seagrass marshes areas in the Everglades and outside of the Everglades in South Florida because there's so many of them now unchecked that they're just eating through those giant grass flats and destroying them. And so now it's like we need to reevaluate because we have all of these dang manatees now. They're destroying the ecosystem. And like, what do you do?
I mean, it's like white-tailed deer. There are more white-tailed deer on the East Coast right now by an order of magnitude than there was in 1607 when Jamestown was founded.
Yep.
Way more. So
there is.
Derek, what's your all-time favorite lake to fish?
St. Clair.
Bull Shoals.
Yep. St. Clair.
Nostalgia purposes. And it's also just a beautiful lake to fish at.
Yeah, St. Clair is just incredible. It's an incredible fishery. What about you, Derek? What's your favorite? Man, it's almost 8. This one went quick.
I know.
I don't know what my wife's cooking, but I'm about to eat my finger. It smells so good. Let's see. Anything else popping up today? Doesn't look like it. It's been a quiet day today on the news front.
Well, it's getting that time of year. I mean,
yeah, it is. It
because
shows season's about to start.
Yeah. OneCast will be we got Raleigh, which I think is like the 7th or 8th of January, which that means I got to make some Neds. I got to get out there tomorrow. Woo! I got some work to do. And then Fayetteville in February, then the Classic in March.
Hey, I'm interested what that Fayetteville show looks like.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's the first year they're doing it. I suspect it would do pretty good. There's a lot of people coming from Fayetteville, from Raleigh.
I wonder how much overlap there is within.
I haven't been to the Greensboro one in a few years. I suspect it will be better than Greensboro.
Greensboro, I think, is completely done with fishing, and I think from what I heard, it is now basically just a boat show. And
when I was there was half the fishing stuff that was in Raleigh. You know, Raleigh's not fully fishing like it used to be.
Right.
But I suspect it will do pretty good because, I've had guys come up from like Jacksonville, Wilmington, different places to Raleigh, but they'd probably they're more likely to make the trek to Fayetteville instead. And you get all like people like Sam down on Lumberton. They don't come to Raleigh that often.
True. Yep.
So it should still be pretty good. I suspect, like I said, it'll be better than what Greensboro has been.
Yep.
And I don't know about Richmond, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
You doing You said you are doing Richmond this year?
No, I didn't sign up for it because we'll do the 3. And
yeah,
I mean, maybe I'll get a wild hair and say, okay, if they have open spots, be like, give me a deal on it. I'll show up next weekend. But if not, then whatever.
Okeechobee and St. Clair, Derek said. Yeah, I haven't fished Okeechobee yet, but
Okeechobee's a blast.
I'm sure it'd be a lot of fun. One of these days I'll run down there. It's not that far.
Yeah, it is 10 hours.
Oh, that ain't nothing. I drive that one way to work.
You know, the time that when I went, I left about midnight because it was a 4-day weekend from the Army. So I took a pass. I left about midnight. I drove all the way there. I got in the water about 10:30 in the morning, and I fished for about 5 hours, not knowing anything about the lake or anything really. I think it's 2017, and before I even checked in my hotel room.
Yeah, it's the way to do it.
I was tired, man. I was tired.
Early.
Talking about being exhausted, but
I bet.
I think I got some of those videos on YouTube still. Some of my first ones.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, man. Well, that's about an hour, so I'm about ready to go eat this food I've been smelling.
All right, man.
So
Have a
good
night.
talking. Appreciate everybody's time tonight. Make sure you check out those companies that help make this possible. They've been scrolling across the bottom, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. And all of you for helping us continue to grow a culture of anglers, helping anglers one cast at a time.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Yeah. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
You got anything?